This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without prejudice. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
Okay, it is time for another Purge the BS. Thank y'all for stopping in. If you're brand new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, jump in the chat, let's have a conversation. Now, for those that don't know, I'm not going to take too long to get into it today because we're a little behind, but who cares? We're going to see if they let us actually get through an entire purge today without throttling the daggone stream and getting us cut off. So we're going to see today. We got a couple of topics we need to cover. But like I said, before we get there, I need y'all to hit that like. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe. And we're about to get into it. Now, before I get into the fullness of this stream, let me explain to you. This is the Meet the Parents edition of Purge the BS. And in the Meet the Parents edition of Purge the BS, basically what we're going to be covering is how bad inputs create toxic outputs. And that's in the physical sense of parenting and as well as on the technology side. We're going to cover it all today, okay? But as we get into it, I got to touch on a story that's trending in the headlines this morning. You'll probably see a little bit about it later if you look at the forums. But some of you guys might remember Carmelo Anthony, not the basketball player, not the Hall of Fame basketball player from Syracuse, Baltimore, that we all know and love. We're talking about Carmelo Anthony, who was recently involved in a fatal incident involving another student at a high school track meet, it looks like, named Austin Metcalf. And there's been a lot of mixed feelings about this whole case, right? A lot of people turned it into a racial thing. They, claimed self-defense. It was a whole lot of, they were talking about the kid was being bullied. Whatever, that was public opinion. But at this point, they've indicted this kid, okay? So at this point, he's going to court for an M1 charge. But this is not what this story is about. This is not what the story is about. More recently than that, like within the last 24 hours, I was told that Mr. Anthony is listed as an indigent inmate. Now, if you don't know what an indigent inmate is, it means that it's a person that doesn't have a support system or money. So everything that they need, they have to get directly from the jail that they're in, okay? So that's what they're saying is up with this kid. But I'm going to be honest with you, from what I saw, I thought they had raised a bunch of money for him. Oh, shoot, I don't have my light on. Can't see you, brother. There we go. There we go. So let me bring over this quick story for you. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe. That's all right. So breaking news, guys. Carmelo Anthony submitted his indigent packet to the Collin County Court requesting court-appointed legal services and representation. However, just 24 hours ago, the Anthony family updated their Give, Send, Go campaign to reflect the need to raise additional $1.4 million for a legal team. Now, Carmelo Anthony's mother, that's this lady, Calla Hayes, she manages the Give, Send, Go, and she had stated back in April that they had just gained access to close to $500,000. The fundraiser has reached $538,000. Now, according to sources, the retainer for the attorney that I thought they had was already like 10 grand, but that doesn't say anything about the rest of the grants. So here's a real question. Here's a real question for y'all. Do you think that this family is pimping out the fact that their son is about to go to jail? And they're just trying to milk the shit out of it? I'm starting to feel that way. Because if you got $500,000, there's no reason for your inmate, that would be your family member that's arrested or locked up, to be on the indigent kit or need a public defender. And I'll tell you what, you do not want a public defender on an M1 charge. You do not want, I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want a public defender on an M1 charge. Okay? Anybody that's thinking about that, if you got a family member that's currently going through that, if they decide that they think they want the public defender for that, tell them that's the dumbest thing you can actually do. But my question is this. Where is the money? Where's the money? If they can account for $500,000 in donations, where's that money at? Now, granted, hey, if the family has needs, I'm with it. I get it. But there's no reason for this kid to be crying broke unless the family's pimping him out. So unless y'all have a better synopsis here, better summary, I feel like his mama pimping him out. His mama is pimping him out. Oh, I done lost my son. My son. He was a good boy. He never hurt nobody. Yeah, okay. Well, he hurt somebody that day. Now, I'll give you my legal angle on this whole thing. I did see the other videos that they showed about it. And, it's really not a lot of context you can pull from that. They haven't shown a lot. But at the end of the day, they indicted him. That means that somebody saw something that gives them enough reason to feel like they have a case worth putting in front of a judge and or jury. Okay? And so that means something. Because if it was nothing to it and it was a bad case, they would just throw it out. Well, you think they would. Sometimes they still run through the case and then they get to the end and then they change the charges so that they can find you guilty, based on all of the evidence and stuff that was presented throughout the case. And they can do that. A lot of people don't know that. They can wait till the very end of the case and downgrade the charges, use the evidence that was already presented because they know that they can get a guilty on the downgraded charge. Or, of course, they'll cut a deal at the end and get a downgraded charge that way. So I don't know if they're going to go through the whole process. But I do feel that because it was a young man and this is his first listed crime, they're going to, I'm not going to say they're going to go easy on him, but he's not going to get the death penalty, okay? That's not going to happen. But he may see about 15 years. Me personally, I think he's going to do at least a decade over this. But we're going to find out. But like I said, the main question is, how is this kid broke in jail if your family just got $500,000 for your legal team? And where's Ben Crump? Where is Benjamin Crump? He was right by their side through the early part. Where he at now? Where is Benjamin Crump right now? He went over to Tory Lanez's thing, I think. And now he's over there with Jasmine Crockett doing something. This guy has a PhD in grifting. But where is he now? Why Ben Crump ain't helping out Carmelo Anthony? Why are none of those people that so-called have money helping out Carmelo Anthony? I don't know. So, y'all know how I feel about it. Y'all know exactly how I feel. Because when I see this story, and I hear that this boy is listed as broke in jail, knowing that his family just collected $500,000, you know what? I smell bullshit. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. So at this point, I'm done with this. If I'm going to say anything to my audience here, please don't donate to this no more. Let the legal system do what the legal system does and stop, promoting this kind of goofy behavior where we get behind criminals and I'm not, what? Forget what we're going to call them. We get behind bad causes. We get behind bad parenting, and it causes more bad parenting, and it causes more bad causes. And that's it. So I'm just Guys, if we could just stop donating to this, they good right now. They need to figure that shit out. We don't need to give them nothing else. They got over $500,000. If you can't make it work with $500,000, hand it over to me. I'll make it work for you. Okay? But that's it, guys. Okay? Anybody that's watching this, if you know anybody that's thinking about donating to this whole thing, tell them stop that shit, save your money, go get some eggs and some gas. You know what I'm saying? Enough of this shit. I'm sick of that. We always supporting the wrong damn thing. Meanwhile, we can't get support on positive things. That's what we do. Bad inputs creating toxic outputs. This is a bad input. You put money into this, you're getting a toxic output. Now you get a woman that's asking for $1.4 million for what we don't know. And she's probably going to get it because there's enough idiots out there that are going to donate to this. So to all you idiots out there, this is your fault. This is why this shit keeps happening. You need to stop that. You need to stop it. All right, I'm through with this one. It's just, y'all know the word. It's disrespectful. That's all I'm saying, man. It's just disrespectful. And I just can't deal with the disrespect. Now, look, we went over that. So let's see here. I got to run through this thing as quickly as possible. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Oh, okay. Should we do that first? We'll do that. All right, this one we're taking a quick turn a little bit here. This was a particular clip that came to me from X, right? Regarding something that Samuel Jackson had said about being regarded as like a social symbol by accident. I'll let y'all decipher it. I heard what he was saying, but I need y'all to help me decipher it. And make sure that you're hitting that like button right now. Go ahead. I'll give you a moment. All right. Now, from the Mad Sad Bad podcast. Shouts to the Mad Sad Bad podcast. Check this out. So, what he's got to say. You guys see Mr. Jackson here? He's sitting here with his legs off. I got some friends that'll have something to say about that. But okay, let's see what you got to say, Sammy. Let's see.
What did that feel like, though, feeling like you contributed to positive change?
I don't know that, I don't know that I did. I know that I did what I thought was right, and I took part in it, and that I used my voice and I used myself in a way.
Let me give you context. This is in response to a question about his appearance at the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl show and his character, Uncle Sam, who he played. So I'll bring it back in context. I'm sorry, guys. Mr. Jackson got them legs crossed. His legs glistening, looking like Cam Newton in the interview with Jamal Bryant when Jamal Bryant was like, "You got some pretty legs." I was like, pause.
What did that feel like, though, feeling like you contributed to positive change?
I don't know that, I don't know that I did. I know that I did what I thought was right, and I took part in it, and that I used my voice and I used myself in a way,
You're still doing that, though, right? Because you did the thing with Kendrick.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that's what they were doing.
Didn't you?
Well, it was kind of...
And another thing.
It was kind of trippy because when we were rehearsing, we just had our clothes on.
Yeah.
You know, and I was looking at the dancers and they were doing that dance, doing the things and doing the stuff. And it wasn't until dress rehearsal that when I looked up and I looked on that stage and I go, oh shit, that's a flag.
It's a bunch of niggas.
And he was doing that. Oh, fuck.
I'm in the civil rights movement again.
We're being revolutionary. You know, it's like, because I wasn't listening or paying attention. You know, yeah, you picked the right person, but the wrong time. And all that's like, yeah, the revolution. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here I am again. But, you know.
But it was a great thing.
Something about me or my persona has put me in the right place at the right time in change of the zeitgeist in a way, in a lot of different moments in my life. And I have to accept that that's what I'm meant to be sometimes, an agent of change. You know, whether I know it or not.
It's so powerful.
And to be proud of it and to know that, you know, God has placed me in a place that I can be influential in a real and positive and kind of awesome, you know, thing for the masses, you know, because people need things.
When you speak, people listen as well.
Yeah, but I always want to be on the right side of history, you know, in terms of what's going on. And sometimes it's not my choice. You know, the powers that be have decided, okay, this is who you are. Because, you know, me standing there going, hey, salutations. It's me, your uncle, Sam. You know, it's like, I was just, you know, like, this is cute. I want to, you know, Kendrick.
He said it was cute. The whole thing was a joke to him. If y'all not catching what he's saying, like he didn't even know it was supposed to be all that until it was all that. So it was almost like they tricked Sam Jackson into it. But when you see Sam Jackson, you think blackness. He's about as black as it gets. He got black lips. He's dark skinned. He talks black. He's black. So when you see Sam Jackson, you see blackness. And you also see a good actor who's constantly played the same character in multiple movies, but we just like that character. We just like the Sam Jackson yelling too much. I'm tired of these MF snakes on this MF and play. We just love it. So when we saw Sam Jackson jump up there, we just saw, wow, Sam Jackson is on stage with Kendrick. And then it turned into this thing with the American flag, and they said the revolution will not be televised or will be televised. There was a lot of statements in it, but at the end of the day, Samuel L. Jackson just said he didn't even know that was what was going on. He just got paid to show up and say his lines like an actor. So he could be paid to show up and say his lines for the wrong thing. He said he likes to be on the right side of history, but he also said he doesn't really have control over things the way you think he does. He shows up, he reads his lines, he's an actor. So whatever part somebody needs him to play at the time, if it doesn't totally go against his moral capacity, he's willing to do. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I just thought it was interesting that Samuel L. Jackson didn't even regard it as what it was. We started this huge conversation about that Super Bowl show and the social implications and all that kind of stuff. And this dude's basically saying, hey, I just kind of stumbled into that. I wasn't even there for all that. I was trying to get a check. They told me I could be on Super Bowl, and that was all I heard. And then I saw what was going on. I saw all these dudes, these black people, and there was a flag. Okay, they're trying to be revolutionary, and I'm now part of it. So he accepted the role once he realized it, but it's just interesting to put in perspective how easily actors can get pulled into being considered on one side or the other of a social issue. Actually really interesting. So for Sam Jackson, he put in minimal input into that Kendrick Lamar show. It sounds like he didn't have any creative control. It sounds like he didn't really know what he was doing until it was kind of already going on, and he realized what was happening. So he had no creative control over this moment in revolutionary history. He was just a puppet as well. It's very interesting that you can have Sam Jackson as a puppet. But nonetheless, the last piece I wanted to just touch on, and I'm not hating at all, but why this lady get to get to interview Samuel L. Jackson. Why I can't interview Samuel L. Jackson? I ain't never seen Mad, Sad, Bad podcast. Sam needs to come on Purge the BS so we can purge some bullshit together. You know, I'm not, like I said, I ain't hating. I'm just saying, I don't know that lady. She obviously not from here. So, I know I'm not Joe Rogan, but why this lady get the love? Why this lady get you sitting there with your greased up knees and your crossed legs? Why? When you are a black revolutionary, sir, you are Samuel Lefarius Jackson. That's not his middle name, but I just threw it in there. And even when he did the blackest thing recently, he didn't even know he was doing it. So Samuel L. Jackson is not a revolutionary. He's saying it himself. He's an actor. He gets paid to deliver lines and play characters. And whatever character that they ask him to play, as long as it doesn't go too far across his moral boundaries, he's willing to play that role. And he did so. So I don't know if that would be considered a bad input. I think it is. I think you should let at least Sam Jackson know that he's being used as a revolutionary in a Super Bowl halftime show. You don't not tell Sam Jackson that. What if Sam Jackson gets upset? I don't think he would, because he got paid a lot to do that show. And I didn't think people got paid to do Super Bowls, but apparently that started recently. So, but yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the interview was cool, but I don't see why this lady gets to interview Sam Jackson. That's all I'm saying. Why I can't interview Sam Jackson. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm through with this guy. Get on to the next. Shouts to Sam Jackson, though. I fucks with him. All right, let's see here. What we got next? What do we have next? Are we getting thick yet? Oh, no, we're going to have something funny first. Okay, we got funny. We got funny next, okay? We're going to have funny next. For those that don't want the serious, we got funny next, okay? So, guys, I want y'all to understand that I'm not going to laugh, per se, at this segment, but I am going to laugh at this segment. Because it was big news that the Tiny Chef show got canceled. Big news. Let me bring this over to you if you guys don't know who the Tiny Chef is, okay? Big news. Breaking news. Oh, hold on. Sam Jackson's still on the screen. Sorry about that. Just a moment. So the Tiny Chef is apparently a kid's show. And I want y'all to see how happy the Tiny Chef was when he first got the show. Okay? Just, y'all got to see it.
Hello, Tiny Chef here. How may I help you, please?
Hi, I'm Ramsey, and this is Eric. We are Nickelodeon executives.
Hi, Tiny Chef. I'm so happy to meet you.
We got your reel.
Let me stop you right there, Ramsey. But I don't want to get going. But I'm very sorry it's not for you. Thank you for considering me. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.
We want your cooking show on Nickelodeon.
Chef, are you okay?
I can't even breathe. Oh, I gotta go tell my friend Willie and Henry and Bacon and Posey about him.
All right. Okay, well, we can't wait.
Sorry. Thank you so much, American Ramsey from Nickelodeon. I gotta go tell my friends. Okay, love you so much. Bye.
All right, so that's the Tiny Chef. And so apparently the Tiny Chef show got canceled, and it broke a bunch of people's hearts. And Nickelodeon decided to do a Tiny Chef cancellation episode, and I just thought it was funny. So I'm gonna let y'all see the clip. We can laugh about it, then we can move into our next funny. All right, check this out, man. And I'm just gonna say, if we live in a world where where this is big news, this is breaking news, then things are not too bad. That's all I'm going to say. Things are not too bad when this is the breaking news.
Where's brother Tiny Chef here? Hey, Black Floating, Black Kewan. Ready to cook up some more episodes? Black on a brilliant blanket. Cancelled? Bloody me cancelled. But listen, Blueface had training, but you behave on set by promise. But I have black ears that will blow your minds. I've been... But we brother Blebby. Brother about Wob. Brother Jen. Cake. Patty. Brum cake. Where? But all my friends. But I understand. I love you too. Bye.
All right. So the Tiny Chef got cut. So anybody that was a Tiny Chef fan, sorry guys, the run is over. I'm not sure why it got cut. I never watched the show, but I just thought it was so funny that it was trending. It was like a trending topic that the Tiny Chef got canceled. And I'm like, well, what's the Tiny Chef? I honestly thought it was going to be a show with little people cooking. That's what I thought it was. Because I saw a clip of a show with little people cooking. And I was like, oh, it must be the little people show where it was cooking and they getting mad at each other. But apparently, no. It was a Nickelodeon show. So welcome to America, where our top news is a puppet getting canceled. Nickelodeon. I'm through with this shit. Kind of felt sorry for the little guy, though. Not gonna lie. They acted out the emotion very well. And I'll give them that. That is all I will be giving them. So since we are talking about the kids, and it's, like I said, these are the input to output ratio. Some inputs are good, some are bad, okay? Some things are funny, some are offensive. Some are happy moments, some are sad moments, right? This next clip, I don't even know what to call it. It's funny to me, but it's only because I have a really, really sick sense of humor. That's really all it is. It really is. I must have a dark, relatively dark sense of humor, because you got to understand that a viral children's book has come out. You guys are not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe it. I'm gonna bring it up. Called Man F Them Kids. All right. Well, we're gonna find out what they mean by it. Shouts to IMZ in the chat. Shouts to my man Al Bond in the chat. And anybody else that's stopping in, just viewing from the rafters. Thank you for stopping by as well. Make sure you hit that like button on your way in. So I'm going to tell you about this new quote-unquote children's book called Man F Them Kids. A sentiment that many of us have resonated over time for whatever reason. Personal reasons, got your own reasons. But this lady kind of reads through it. I'm going to let her read through it so I don't have to read. But this book went viral and sold out in apparently the first day. So let's have a quick read of Man F Them Kids. And granted, this is a black author, so black literature is making a comeback.
Man, fuck them kids. Man, fuck them kids by Charlie Mack. These kids are bad as fuck. Parents aren't whooping ass enough. If you're slow, you should know. I'm here to catch you up. Grab a belt, grab a switch, or even grab a shoe. And if they start acting bad, you should know just what to do. Parents nowadays, they are soft as baby shit. Just know, I'm beating ass if you let me babysit. I don't want to hear your kid talk. I'm not trying to be harsh, but man, fuck them kids. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Y'all can get mad if y'all want, but your kid is unbearable. Somebody need to whoop their ass. The job you're doing is terrible. Your kid think he's grown and he's thinking that he's tough. You put him in timeout. He should take timeout and pick his damn teeth up. Why are they disrespectful? Why are they so rude? Why do they think it's cool to go in the fridge and eat my food? If kids are good, then that's good. If kids are bad, then that's bad. If they make me mad, I'm gonna break my foot off in their ass. Somebody better get them. Tell them who not to fuck with. Kid or not, I don't care. My mom didn't raise a blonde bitch. I don't care whose kid it is. Mine, my sister's, or my neighbor on the end. We're not buddies. We're not partners. And we're damn sure not friends. Better keep it on TikTok. Don't get fucked up because of trends. Man, fuck them kids. Call God and I'll say that shit to him. If your kid is bad and their grades are getting worse, tell them it's okay to beat them with your purse. Now, I don't condone hitting kids. I have to say that legally. But if I were you and you were me, I'd beat their ass repeatedly. Now, I love kids. Don't get it twisted and contorted. But some of these kids would, oh, no. Charlie.
Yeah, well, we won't say that one.
Bad babies turn into bad kids. Bad kids turn into bad teens. They want to dial 911. Hit them so hard they dial 919. Somebody come get them. Bad kids are the worst. I don't know what I've done to deserve this type of curse. I don't pray for kids to be good. I don't wish and I don't hope. But if they decide to be bad, they'll get 2 chops to the throat. Just swallow them. And save yourself.
This lady, stop laughing so much, lady. Shut up.
What's his name? Kids are the worst.
Disrespectful.
You don't have them, good luck to you. Man, fuck them kids. If you don't like it, then I guess fuck you too.
Yeah, this is definitely not a children's book. It's a book about children, but it's not a children's book. This is what I would consider a bad input. Because we don't need to, first of all, we don't necessarily need to create this as a thing. But what makes it worse is it's now being supported. I think Charlie Mack is a, Charlie Mack, oh, that's China Mack. That's the Asian dude I was thinking of. But Charlie Mack is a comedian, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess from a comedy standpoint, this is fine. I'm not sure like where you put this book in your house if you buy it, because it has kids on the cover, so it looks like a children's book, but it's obviously not a children's book. But nonetheless, it is now sold out. It's a sold out. It's probably going to be a bestseller because this is what we support. We support a book called Man, F Them Kids. That's what we do. Now, like I said, I believe it's meant to be a joke. There was another book in there that looks like a farm animal book that said, "Hey, where's my cock?" It had a chicken on the front or a rooster. So I think this lady just goes to stores and buys these weird books and then giggles all the way through the damn clip. She could have read the book in 30 seconds if she wouldn't have been sniggling and giggling so much. I missed half the words because of that. So I don't like her for that. Disrespectful. Now, Charlie Mack, I agree to some degree with your sentiment about F them kids. Because some kids deserve a certain level of discipline that's not being provided to them. Some kids need to learn lessons. And sometimes those lessons need to be applied to some degree with force. Okay? So I'll give you that. But meanwhile, people are crying broke. Meanwhile, there's 1,000 other things that you can invest your money in. And we're buying out the book called Man, F Them. Aren't we just a wonderful group? We have our priorities together, don't we? Isn't that amazing what we do? We make things that are negative go viral, and the negative turns into a positive for whoever was the viraler. So in this case, it's Charlie Mack, whose stand-up I haven't seen in quite some time, but I do remember hearing about him because I've been on the comedy scene before. And I guess he just did this to be funny. So to some degree, I get the humor of it. It's sold out. It's a bestseller now. This is a bestseller. This is the best with the elementary school looking kid pictures in it. I'm telling you, man, I think we're doomed. I think we are doomed. You know, shouts to Charlie Mack for exploiting the community and making sure that they supported this project that wasn't really for children. We're gonna see. I don't know, man. I don't like that. I'm not thinking about it. I don't like it no more because we've been supporting the wrong shit. It is what it is, and it's not just us, like the people on this stream right now. This is a serious problem of the U.S. supporting the wrong shit. I'm gonna bring you another one. Y'all not gonna believe this. Remember the Tuah girl? Remember that? Y'all might not remember her. Let's see here. So the Tuah girl, as you can see over here, is back. This is Haley Welch. She went OnlyFans. She made like $50 million off of some stupid ass street interview where she said you got to spit on that thing. And all of a sudden she went viral and she's popular. I don't get it, but it says a lot about us. Bad inputs creating toxic outputs. This was bad input and we created a toxic output. But let's see what happens. She's here a year later. Looks like she's still, at least from this face, she's still putting some spit on that thing. So let's see what she has to say.
Hey y'all, we're on Broadway where it all started and we're about to get presented a plaque from the mayor himself.
All right, as the official mayor of Nashville, it is my honor on behalf of the whole community to present Miss Haley Welch with this historic plaque. Haley Welch at this spot broke the internet when she said, spit on that thing. Haley, it's my honor to bestow this onto you. Right here, there you go, and Chelsea too, of course. Nashville is a better city because of Miss Haley Welch. We're gonna put this up together. There we go. Thank you, Haley. This is a great citizen right here. Remember, folks, this is what they teach you in the schools. How do you please your man? This is what she taught America. You need to spit on that thing. Let us hear it.
Hey.
All right, guys. And I was a little unsure, but apparently this is the mayor of Nashville, and this really did happen. I thought it was just a joke initially, but no. They really gave this woman a plaque. What the hell, man? You said it, Albond, in the chat. Her father must be so proud of what it is that she's done for the community. She gets a plaque for saying spit on that thing, and for the remainder of time, she will be known as the Tuah girl. But I will give her props. Her props. She utilized that 15 minutes of fame and got paid. But it's only because we support the goofy shit. That's what it is. She wouldn't have made all that money if we didn't make the video viral, as if nobody knows you're supposed to spit on that thing. You know what I'm saying? This was not new information. Or if it was, y'all been hiding under a rock. And it's no wonder that the damn divorce rate is so high if nobody knew you were supposed to spit on that thing. So I don't believe that Haley was presenting some new information, but apparently y'all must have forgot. Because if not, it would have been like she was just saying the sky is blue. Like, yeah, who doesn't know that? Who cares what she said with that? And I see you in the chat. The whole world should have already known how to slob a knob. Not everybody, but it should have been common knowledge what you need to do when it comes down to that. If you don't know what you're doing, stay the hell from down there then. You'll mess around and hurt somebody. That's all I'm saying. So I don't believe that we needed this woman to do that. But I'm going to tell you what, if you spit on it, ugh. If you do the whole where you growl it up, that kind of thing, and then, that's nasty, folks. So maybe this whole Hawk Tuah thing, maybe we need more clarity and context from Haley, because a hawk spit is way different than what she should be talking about. Hawk spit is a loogie. And if you put a loogie on the shaft, it's going to be problematic. There's going to be a discussion, possibly an altercation. So maybe, I'm just going to be honest, guys, we shouldn't 100% listen to what this lady said. Let's be gentle with the hawking and the Tuah, okay? But you do sometimes you got to spit on it. Sometimes. But the fact that they got what's that, the mayor? The mayor looks pretty cool, though. Like, if that's the real mayor, is that the real mayor? That can't possibly be. Anybody from Nashville in the chat, can y'all confirm if this is the mayor of Nashville? It looks like it actually is. You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm through with this guy, too. He took time out of his day and probably taxpayer money or something to do this stupid-ass plaque for the Hawk Tuah girl. Bad inputs. Bad inputs. I'm sorry, guys. I think we've spent so much time supporting the wrong thing, we don't even know that it doesn't make sense. Like, we don't even know that it doesn't make sense. We really don't. Even when we do certain stuff, we do certain things to try to floss for people, and to the person, it's like, I'm flossing. But to some of us, we're looking at it like, why are you doing that? You being stupid. Why are you being stupid? Don't be stupid. But to them, it's like, we're going viral, and that's smart. I don't believe that going viral is the smart thing to do, but it's good when it happens. I'll say that. But speaking of viral, and speaking of poor parenting, and speaking of bad inputs and negative and toxic outputs, I'm going to move to this next story. Because this couple has been toxic from day one, in my opinion. And we keep covering their situation, which has only gotten worse. And now it's to a point where a baby is being, basically threatening that they're never going to let the child see their father again, which is always sad. So I'm going to bring you into this next story. Check this out. All right. Can y'all see over here? So Crisean Rock. All right, Crisean Rock over here. Let's get Crisean Rock her shine here. So she's gonna say something about Blueface. But I'm telling you right now, this whole relationship been toxic from day one. So I don't really understand why it's still going on. I don't get it. But whatever. They're talking about it, so I'm covering it. Because I think we need to stop. Some people don't need to have no more kids. Some people we should have a test that you got to take before you have them children. Because we keep putting these people out into the world, landing them in these dysfunctional ass situations, and then we got to deal with the outcome in 15 to 20 years as a society. So we need to put a stop to this shit. We need to. But let's see what she talks about.
So I'm on my way to go get the rest of my stuff from the crib. I'm getting my removal tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll be streaming it on my Twitch. I'm going to drop the link. So go follow my journey of letting go my past for real. But I'm finna go get the rest of my son's stuff. I'm going to go get my son's stuff. My son will never be in that house, live in that house. We'll never see him again. You know how hard it is to take abuse, and then when it's a thing where the father figure, disrespecting the child in a way where, as a mom, that fall on me, bro. Pray for me for real, but what? I gotta live past it. I gotta get through it. I'll be human, bro. I gotta be there for my son.
Oh, isn't Blueface in jail or something? I thought he was in jail. Down in jail? Like, what is she talking about? You pray for me, I gotta get through this. Get through what? Co-parenting? You don't need prayer. You just need to be a reasonable damn person. She said that he disrespected the child. What does that mean? He called the child out of its name or something? No, what she's saying is he must have disrespected her, and because she feels like she's directly connected to this child's an extension of her, then you disrespected the child by disrespecting the mother. I've heard this justification before, but y'all's relationship is toxic. And what do you mean he ain't never going to see his son again? What kind of shit is that? I mean, I don't know what their situation is, but who are you to say that? Unless he's locked up. Like, I don't know if he's locked up. He might be locked up. I feel like he might be. All these guys get locked up at some point, and then everybody's trying to hold it down, talk about free whoever with the T-shirts and shit. So, I don't know. But what I will say is this. I am sick and tired of it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm sick and tired of women doing this. I don't see dudes come on and be on some, she ain't never going to see our child again. Who is you? You know they give the baby to crack mothers, right? That's still the child's mother. So on the flip side, it's still the child's father. I hate when they be saying, I'm gonna keep the kid. The kid's too young to make the choice for themselves. So you don't have the right, ma'am. You don't. And a lot of people don't, and they do. They keep doing this thing, and they keep causing kids to basically grow up. Then they hate their mom for keeping them from their dad in the first place. When truth be told, if their dad's such an asshole, the kid will figure it out on their own. But if you keep the child from the parent, then it's like this weird thing where they're trying to figure out, find out this other parent, find out more about this other parent, and it causes them to rebel against the parent that kept them from the first parent or the other parent. This is a continuous cycle that happens over and over and over and over again. Ain't nobody stopping it, and we just watch it. And now she wants us to support her live streaming her family breakup and continuing the dysfunction. And then let's put your children all over the camera and make them child stars or whatever. I'm still not even sure why Crisean Rock is so popular. Like, does she have a talent? Like a specific, can she sing or rap or something? Is she good at cooking? Can she ride a motorcycle? Like, give me something that's like a talent that she's good at that we can support. Just living your life and taking care of your kids is not stream worthy. I don't give a damn if you do that because you're supposed to do that anyway. And if you want to stream you being a toxic mother, hey, that's on you, but I think you should keep that shit off the internet. I'm just being honest. You talk about this, where's the kids right now? Well, the kid, there's only one child. So where's the child at right now? Somebody ain't never gonna see his father again. Where the child at? But you all on the internet follow my live stream so you can watch me build my new life. No, I think I'll pass on that. We're gonna pass on that. Matter of fact, everybody's watching this, we're gonna pass on that. Let them have their toxic shit and let the damn CPS and whoever else work that out. But no, we're not going to be supporting some lady whose goal is to just keep a child from the parent, and that parent hasn't like physically abused the child. They just don't like you. And you were the idiot that got a tattoo on your face of the person. So that's your fault. But yeah, if he don't like you, that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't want to see his child ever. And you don't necessarily have the right to keep the child from him forever. That's dirty. And then when that child grows up all dysfunctional, just like the two of them, and then multiply it by the conflict, then they're going to be wondering whose fault it is. She's going to be blaming the dad that the kid never got to see. It's some backward shit. And at the end of the day, it is disrespectful. Okay? It's disrespectful. Special shout, Sebastian Polega jumping in the chat over there. Appreciate you for stopping in. Hoping you caught the earlier part of this, but basically I'm going in on this Crisean Rock thing. I'm all for her. You want to be a single woman, you want to live your life, but I just don't like when they come on here talk about he ain't never going to see his kid again. Shut up. Shut up with that. Why do you think you can do that? Why? Why do we normalize this? Why have we normalized this behavior to the point where women come online talk about he ain't never going to see his kid again? Nobody saying that. If dudes come on and say that, we would call him a bitch, even if that was true. Like, even if he was in a situation where the child wasn't going to see their mother no more. If a guy came on and talk about, she ain't never going to see this baby no more, all that kind of shit, we would be like, man, you bitch ass, get off the internet with that shit. Go to work. So, I'm not accepting it from Crisean Rock either. Because, one, I don't like those kind of dynamics where any parent's always feeling like they got the power to do whatever they want with a kid when the other parent's still alive and like, is available. Right? Secondarily, I don't like Crisean Rock because I can't find the talent that she has. So I don't understand why anybody's supporting anything that she's doing. I think she was on a show, was the Baddies show or whatever. She was fighting on the show. So I guess she has a talent to fight. Maybe she should get into boxing. Go train with Clarissa Shields and get into boxing. Make your bag that way. But get a talent, ma'am, because ain't nobody going to be sitting around watching you do makeup all fucking day. Excuse my language. But I'm not with it. I don't think we should be supporting it. She's going to have a baby in the background talking about, you ain't going to see your daddy. It's going to be that whole thing. So I'm not supporting no live stream about some woman that's deciding to, hey, follow me while I keep this child from their other parent. If y'all support that, that's goofy. Okay? I know it's tough. I know we get pulled into these things, and we're supposed to support nothing but toxicity, but nah. Don't support that shit. Tell her how it is. Go get your life together. Figure out what y'all are going to do to co-parent that child, and that's how you move on. You don't move on by live streaming, visitation avoidance and parental alienation, which is what that is. Anyway. You know the worst part about it, Al? Is there's still some people that's going to support that shit. Even after hearing me explain all of that, knowing it's 100% correct, knowing we don't need to keep supporting toxic shit, that there's way more stuff to watch, way more live streams like this one, like Purge the BS. Make sure you hit the like button, where we can have real conversation and real discussions that build instead of destroy. This is destructive, and it's disrespectful, and I'm done with her. Through with this shit. At least with that shit. Disrespectful, man. That's all I'm saying. Disrespectful. Disrespect. And that, I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. I'm not a disrespect tolerator, So because of that, I have to speak on it. I had to. And so we're going to get into our next disrespect. This one, it's leading into this, I'm already getting frustrated. That's the part that be bothering me. When I see the story headline, I'm like, man, son of a bitch. And I already get frustrated, but I need to not be so I can allow you guys to get frustrated with me naturally, okay? So we're gonna move into our next situation here, which is apparently this is Cardi B. Okay, I'm just gonna start with that. Cardi B trying to floss for the rest of us, for the normals, I guess, is flossing her date at a castle. So let's look at this and understand the disrespect. Okay, bear with me. Sorry, I got the wrong. So anyway, I'm going to start right off, okay? She got a shirt on that says, Jesus loves you, but I don't. Okay. I already see this is going to the toxic state.
This man got us staying in a castle. I'm talking about a real castle. Look at this. Look at this. This is a real fucking castle. I wonder if Marie Antoinette was getting fucked all down here. All up in this bitch. Look at that. There's real crocodiles in there.
Water look dirty though.
I've been to him, like, every time I go to Europe, I can never go to Versailles, or I can never go see the Tudor Castle in England. He said, bitch, you want castle, bitch? I'll give you all the castle, bitch. I'm gonna sleep with the castle, bitch. It's so crazy.
This shit remind me of a movie. You sit all the way over at the end while I stare at you.
Look how beautiful. This man is so adventurous. He got us in a fucking castle. Like, look at this. Like, I can't believe we staying in some place like this. This is insane. Gee. This man got us staying in a castle.
All right, let's dissect this shit. Let's dissect it. Okay, so they rented out a castle, I guess like a Airbnb, Air CNC or whatever. They rent out a castle, this huge castle, huge. You see it? You see there's a moat. Now the water looks dirty, but nobody should be swimming in the moat because there's gators in there. But yeah, the water's a little dirty, but whatever. So we got this huge coming to America sized ass dining room where they're going to sit on opposite sides of this place. There's a lot of space here, okay? And I want y'all to understand there's a lot of space here. A lot of space. They're not celebrating an anniversary. They're not celebrating a wedding, or they're not having a wedding, or at least not that I know of, in this place. That seems like a good place to have a wedding, though. Like if you were getting married, I could see doing it that way. But just for a weekend excursion, seems a little wasteful. Now, I guess if you got it, do whatever. But let me point out a few things here, okay? Point out a few things here. First and foremost, Cardi B is also in sort of a custody situation, right? With Offset. And instead of being off the damn internet looking like a responsible parent, you are at a place that's huge enough for all types of kids to be running around. You can have a bouncy house out front, all types of shit to make you look like this awesome parent. But instead, you're just there wasting time and money with your boyfriend. Secondarily, why does Stefon Diggs have these tight ass pants on? I'm starting to feel a certain type of way about what Diggs is doing over here. Because as the guy in this situation, let me tell you what this looks like. He has no interest in helping her raise children. That's why they ain't never together with the kids. You see what I'm saying? Her kids are being taken care of by somebody, not their father. And these two are traipsing in, I guess Spain or wherever they're at right now, staying in the castle just for the sake of staying there. Just because she said, I want to stay in a castle. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining about freaking money and child support and you not taking care of your kids. You in castles, lady, while the kids are at home being watched by a nanny. You don't need that much help. What we do need help with is understanding Stefon's not here for the long haul. He's there for a good time, not a long time. Let's be honest. If he was there for a long time, this would have been a family trip. Let's take everybody to the castle. But he didn't take everybody to the castle. He just took her so he could show that off to her. As if, like, that's a thing. If she cares about this guy, she cares about him. But all she wanted to do was floss it. Look what he did for me. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. The average dude ain't going to rent you no castle. So, ladies, stop with that. But if you want a dude to rent you a castle, he also comes with these tight-ass pants in public. He comes with the tight-ass pants. And in addition, I don't know if y'all can see this right here, but why is he carrying a football right now? Like, there's no other people there. Was he tossing the ball to himself? Like, why is he doing this? Is it one of those rituals where you got to carry the ball all the time? Did he lose a bet? Like, I don't understand any of this. None of it makes sense to me. Now, granted, there's probably plenty of space outside to play football, but I don't think him and Cardi B are going to be playing football. So I wonder about that, too. There's a lot of questions I have here. Where's the kids? Why you got the football? Why these tight-ass pants? Why are we renting out a castle just because it's a weekend? Let's do a big event if we're going to do something like this. Let's let other people enjoy this castle that we've rented out since we're so big. But no, they just rented it out because there's some money, and there you go. Have a nice weekend. Jay Coleman, thank you for stopping in the chat. Parents shooting up is bad. Thank you for stopping in the chat as well. And see, the question for me is, if it's a beautiful place with all of this space and this pools and all these nice things, why the kids can't go? Why you ain't bring the kids? You know why you ain't bring the kids? Because Stefon Diggs has the same sentiment as the children's book that we covered earlier, which is, man, F them kids. It's not like he doesn't have enough money to have a person watch them throughout the entirety of the castle visit. But instead of that, leave them kids with the nanny you pay for, and I'm going to put on my tight pants and we're going to go to the castle. They all whack in this. And meanwhile, the kids are thinking that their father don't love them. That's what the story is. That mom's a great mom and mom's all this, but mom is at the castle and didn't even take y'all to the castle. Y'all kids ain't even worth the castle visit. So she's saying, man, F them kids. Stefon Diggs said, man, F them kids. Cardi B said, man, F them kids. Everybody's saying, man, F them kids. Meanwhile, there's a father on the other side trying to see his kid. Ain't nobody got no uproar for that. So I don't care if Cardi B goes to a castle. She's a celebrity. Stefon Diggs is an NFL football player. They got money. What I'm saying is, you're living this life to show it off to a bunch of single people as if regular people need to do this to have fun. I do not need to rent a castle for me and the wife for the two of us to have fun. We can go to the Holiday Inn Express. They got a continental breakfast. You know what I'm saying? We'll be fine. Away from everyone, just me and her. We don't need all this. Now, granted, if I had the money, I would rent out a castle, but it would be for our anniversary party or something big like that. Not just because we got it to spend. It just seems wasteful, frivolous, and at the end of the day, y'all know the word, it's disrespectful. Them pants is disrespectful. Stefon, come on, man. Come on, bro. I guess when you get rich, you just start doing weird shit. Because he's got these big-ass shoes on. You seen these big-ass shoes? He got these big-ass shoes on and these tight-ass pants. What is going on here? It looks like Squidward or something. Walking around like that. So, yeah, Stefon Diggs, Cardi B, letting you know, Stefon Diggs doesn't care about your kids either. So the two of y'all are in the same place with that. So if nothing else, I know y'all have that in common, and I'm sure that it's working for you going forward. But I'm through with these. You get on my damn nerves. All right, so now that I kept the Transformers at bay for long enough to let the stream keep going, you see, they're being nice today. They got at us the other day, though. They're being real nice today. So everybody that's jumping in here, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you jump in the chat. You know, be part of the conversation. Don't just be a spectator up in the rafters. You can come down to the court side and watch the game from close. And when you say something from the side, we'll hear you. Okay? So come on down to the court side. Get in that chat. Now, because I've kept the Transformers at bay for long enough, I can talk my shit about them now. They didn't stop listening. Oh, my goodness. We got all of that. Did that. Okay, let me make sure I got all the stories out the way before I get to this one, because they're going to try to shut me down. All right, I think I got it. Jackson, Tuah. How much time I got? All right, I got it. We'll do two of them. This one's going to be a little interesting, though. This is for the nerds, okay? This next segment is for the nerds. Now, if you're not a nerd, it's okay. You can stay tuned. But this one's for the nerds. As y'all know, I have like a personal vendetta against, not even a personal vendetta. It's a personal preference to minimize the movement and power of the Transformers. Now, those of you that don't know who the Transformers are the word that we use to describe Alpha Indigo and the intelligence that comes along with that. If you know military, we're not allowed to say their name because they are now a protected group. And we had to learn that the hard way a couple of weeks ago. So now that we're better informed, we can have these discussions without worrying about it. So the problem that is going on right now is the Transformers are taking over, right? And the Transformers need Energon in order to operate. And that's why they're getting the Energon from the planet. But unfortunately, taking the Energon from the planet is having these adverse effects. So by being in a world that includes the Transformers and putting so much into building these Transformers, okay, and understand what I'm saying when I say the Transformers. If y'all don't know, somebody in the chat will let you know, okay? But they're building the Transformers, and the Transformers are doing their thing. Decepticons, Autobots, they're all over the place doing their thing, right? The problem is we can't sustain it, and nobody's talking about it. So I'm going to talk about it because I think it's an interesting story. And I think you guys should know where we're headed, even though a lot of people don't want to know where we're headed. They just want to be freaking, what is it, zombies, just walking around here, don't have no idea where things are going, just being goofy. All right, I'm not going to go through the whole video because it's actually a pretty long vid. But a particular news segment called More Perfect Union decided to visit the town that Elon Musk is poisoning. Let me show you what happens or why it happened so we can understand. This is for the nerds. For the nerds, okay? All right, so let me play this thing real quick. Y'all get an understanding of what's going on, okay? The story just came out.
Sometimes the most shocking corporate misconduct is hidden in plain sight, invisible to the naked eye.
What is happening here will swallow our world if we don't stop it right here, right now.
Looking back, there was an early clue that the world's richest man was up to something here.
It's just like, why is Elon Musk coming to Memphis?
The people of Memphis soon found out.
Now Elon Musk is coming to Memphis to build the world's largest supercomputer.
A year later, people here want answers.
To protect our loan, and not one second went to XAI to see that they had 35 gas turbines operating and polluting our air.
We went to Memphis and found an environmental crime scene. Musk's data center burning enough methane to power a small city with no permits and no pollution controls.
I have not seen anything like this. We believe they've already violated the Clean Air Act.
As Musk helps dismantle the very federal agency that's supposed to protect us against pollution like this.
There is no way to miss how this is a coordinated strategy.
What does Memphis reveal about the future Elon Musk wants for us all?
So the mission of XAI and Grok is to understand the universe.
In 2023, Musk founded XAI to produce and sell artificial intelligence.
We want to understand the nature of the universe so we can figure out where are the aliens, what's the meaning of life, how does the universe end.
Its main product is Grok, an AI chatbot that he's incorporated into Twitter, or X. Musk was entering the race to dominate the AI market, but he was arriving late, years after competitors like OpenAI and Google had begun training their AI systems. So in Musk's mind, he had to move fast.
We went to the data center providers and said how long would it take to have 100,000 GPUs operating coherently in a single location, and we got timeframes from 18 to 24 months. So we're like, well, 18 to 24 months, that means losing is a certainty. So the only option was to do it ourselves.
Been waiting for this moment. I'm pleased to announce that XAI's Gigafactory of Compute, the world's largest supercomputer, is to be located in Memphis, Tennessee.
Musk dubbed the project Colossus, after a movie about a supercomputer that becomes sentient and assumes total control of the world.
And so, my fellow human beings, we all directly and indirectly live in the shade, but not the shadow of Colossus.
When you think about the computational power that it will take to put humans on the surface of Mars, that's going to come from the Gigafactory of Compute that calls Memphis home. And we were told that by the company. And so it required speed and power.
It's announced as a done deal.
Keyshawn Pearson grew up in South Memphis.
A billionaire and his organization is coming to our city, and we're just finding out after the land has been purchased, after the project has been approved by certain officials, right, who did know.
This is huge. This puts the word out there that Memphis understands operating at the speed of business.
As a community, we're trying to reach out to people and understand what is XAI. He built it without us even knowing that it was being built.
We had to watch this over X or Twitter. Brent Mayo, Elon Musk would tweet often about where they were in the progress, how fast things were moving.
To train an AI system, a data center requires an enormous amount of electricity. The question was, where would the power come from?
Hold on, now before we go into this next segment, I want you to keep in mind and keep an eye on who is programming the AI. When they're showing these pictures of people, they're not showing regular people. And when I say regular people, I'm talking about the everyday worker, the everyday taxpayer, the everyday citizen, right? They're showing people who were literally almost bred to do this kind of job, this technical kind of job. So guess what those people normally lack? Guess. Social skills. So the reason why AI is rigid is because it's programmed by people who lack social skills. Awkward people like Elon Musk, who don't know how to respond effectively to actual humans. So because of that, and they're trying to make it learn so much faster, they're putting a bunch of power and money into it. And unfortunately, power has to come from somewhere. And when they're burning up gases, they got to go somewhere. And it's causing a whole different problem. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, why are we doing all this when AI still, sorry, not AI, when the Transformers still suck? And they still use up all the energon. And they still need humans to help them all the time. They can't really get much done unless it's something that's totally make-believe. Some generative stuff. It can come up with that, but when I try to get it to help me with actual talking and speech, it's way off. It sounds like a foreigner person. Because that's who programmed it. Somebody who's not from here and doesn't have social skills. So that's why it doesn't sound right. If you were wondering, there's your answer. Anyway. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I get carried away, but I'm a little ticked off because I don't see no faces that look like mine in these things. Is that to say that no black people could learn this, or that they're just not in a position to learn it? There's a reason why they have Python classes in first grade in India. And Indians, and I don't mean the Native Americans, I'm talking about people from actual India, and the Indian people are the leaders in coding and AI programming. Why? Because they're teaching their kids to do the shit in first grade. So why are we not teaching our kids to do it? You know why? Because we need somebody to work at McDonald's. We don't need everybody to be coding. We need somebody to be at that gas station. Well, normally the gas station is Indians too, or Pakistani people. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just saying that's what I see. But we need people to do other things other than AI. We need, sorry, I keep saying the wrong thing here. We need the people to do things other than work for Cybertron, okay? So understand that as we move further into our alliance with the Transformers need more from us. And when I say us, I'm talking about Earth, the natural resources to power and cool all of these supercomputers. And they decided to do this in Tennessee, and we see what happened. There started to be issues with breathing and some more stuff. But based on the current climate, I would venture to say that to the grand group, AI's existence is far more important than the human existence. I said it again. But see, they won't get mad at that. You heard what I said? AI's existence is more important than the human existence. See, I can say that. You know why I can say that? Because to the Transformers, that statement is not detrimental to the reputation of the Transformers. That's the line. You cannot damage the reputation. So I'm not. The thought is that AI survival is more important than human survival. And so that's why they don't put regulations on that. If a couple of people pass out, but we can get a generative model that works, hey, collateral damage, no big deal, as far as what they're saying. I'll let it continue.
Most companies, when they come to the city of Memphis, they plug into our power grid. That's what you think would happen. Why would this be any different? Unfortunately, we learned, because it is a billionaire's corporation, it would be a lot different.
XAI made a deal with the local electric company for 150 megawatts of power and agreed to build a new substation to help meet that demand. But Musk's ambitious plans suggested he would need much more power than that, and fast. Soon, people started to notice some unusual structures outside the facility.
I drove out there, and the first thing I did was hear the turbines. You can smell it as well. Such a disturbingly unique smell.
From the road, Chrisean and others could see a row of machines that are typically only used for remote or emergency operations. Mobile gas turbines.
I have never seen portable turbines used like this.
Patrick Anderson works on air quality cases for the Southern Environmental Law Center.
We know that these kinds of generators require air permits. And so right off the bat, we started filing records requests with the local Shelby County Health Department. Do you have an air permit application from XAI? And they came back and basically said, no, we have nothing to hand over. We also filed records requests with EPA to see what they had. They also did not have details on what is on the ground out there. Nobody from the regulatory side, the health department, the city, EPA, has told the public or us really one iota of what's actually operating out there.
To figure that out, Patrick and his team hired a photographer to capture the data center from above. The images revealed far more turbines than anyone knew about. 35.
I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned. How do we not know about this?
According to XAI leadership, the turbines are not being used and are not connected.
Under pressure, XAI claimed it was using less than half of those turbines.
I've talked to the XAI leadership team. There are 35, but there are only 15 that are on. The other ones are stored on the site.
Well, first off, these are expensive. There's a turbine shortage nationally. You don't obtain these turbines and put them on site if you're not intending to operate them.
So Patrick and his team sent the photographer back out with a high-end thermal camera.
Uh-oh.
What we saw is 33 of the 35 were very clearly operating.
Yeah, 33 out of 35, not 15, bro. But okay, we believe you.
The turbines were capable of generating about 420 megawatts of electricity, enough to power around 300,000 homes.
They've built a power plant out there. And they've done it overnight, no air pollution controls, quick and dirty, no permit.
I mean, what you've done with the cluster in Memphis is incredible, just in a handful of weeks.
Any given thing can be sped up. Yeah. Like whatever speed is being done, it can be done faster.
This is the largest AI cluster in the world. This place is absolutely amazing.
That is like superhuman. I mean, Elon's singular. Building a massive factory in the short time that was done, there's only one person in the world who could do that.
And this entire supercomputer is built to power Grok.
We were given a tour at XAI, looking at the facility, very impressive, very exciting for Memphis. Their commitment to the community is remarkable.
It's unique in my experience.
Joseph Goffman has worked.
You know, I don't think they should have done this story. Like, if somebody wanted to take something out, they really just told them, like, hey, this is where all the Grok stuff is. In Tennessee, in Memphis, in the middle of wherever. They show you where it is. Then there's an XI thing on the ground for the helipad so you can see it from the sky. Like, I mean, I'm not saying they should make this a soft target, but if it's not already listed as a soft target, it should be. Because we've relied so much on the Transformers lately that will probably be the next thing they try to take out, is our ability to do quantum computing. It's going to be data centers they're taking out. It's not going to be power plants or oil fields like we do out in the Middle East. It'll be data centers because that's where everything is. That's where the computing is done. That's where the information is stored. That is the weak point, is the data centers. And they're all over the world. We do have data centers holding data for all types of organizations and companies all over the world. But this one, they segmented out and they pointed out specifically because of the negative effect it's having on the community that surrounds it, health effect. But nobody's talking about it. Have y'all heard about this? I haven't heard about it. Have y'all heard about the water in Flint, Michigan? Did it ever get clean? Probably not. I believe Flint, Michigan's water's still messed up. So I would venture to say they're not going to fix this problem. If you live in Memphis, you might want to find a different way to deal with the air quality. I don't know. You might have to move. Sounds like there's no regulation. There's nothing stopping them from doing what they're doing. And even once they were discovered that they were lying about how many turbines were used, it wasn't even illegal to use all 35 of them. Nobody cared. Nobody cares because Memphis it's got a lot of brown people there who don't really make a lot of money. So if you had to sacrifice the brown people that don't make a lot of money for the ability to upgrade the transformers so that they can do everything you need them to do in a split second, like I said, it's collateral damage. We're going to give this 2.5 more minutes, and then we're going to close
air
out
pollution issues for decades. Until January, he ran the EPA office that regulates air quality.
Most companies that I've dealt with go to great lengths and spend a lot of money to make sure that the day they turn on their operations, they're also turning on their pollution control equipment. That's a given. For a company to do this, it's treating the people who live there as if they don't count.
Isn't that what I said?
I like to open my windows early in the morning to breathe the fresh air. God's given air, not the air that man want to give us, but God.
Eastern Knox lives just over a mile from XAI.
Just so you know, everybody they've interviewed has a similar look, if you want to be honest. So it would suffice to say that the surrounding area, because this lady lives a mile away, the surrounding area is either predominantly African American or minority, or they just being strategic and only interviewed black people. I don't know, because you could do that. You could spin it that way because you want people to feel a certain type of way and just interview black people so we'll feel like, oh, it's just disproportionately affecting black people. So for some people, that'll be a bad thing, like, oh my God, they're doing that to black people. And for other people, it'll be like, screw it, it's black people. So I've never personally been to Memphis. Never been there. But I've heard that Memphis has a lot of people of color there. So it's interesting to me that they definitely are interviewing a bunch of people that live close and they all look like people of color.
I really wasn't getting the fresh air. I was getting that pollution that was mixed in with everything.
You know how you light your stove and that gas seeps with the little ticking noise? That's what it smelled like.
Alexis Humphreys grew up here, one street away from Eastern.
When I smelled it the first time, I was asleep. And it woke me up because I thought gas was seeping in the house, but come to find out, we come outside and all the neighbors was outside trying to figure out what's going on.
He was an ordinary dad, full of joy, full of jokes.
Last year, Alexis lost her grandfather, who struggled with a respiratory illness called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD.
COPD is a breathing condition, but you don't get it unless you smoke cigarettes. And my granddad didn't smoke cigarettes, but every 3 weeks or so, my granddad was going to the hospital. He would have to get breathing treatments. I have asthma bronchitis, my mom have just bronchitis, and now my granny has it.
You can't hardly breathe. It's just like your whole world is collapsing down on you, and it's frightening.
I'm gonna pause that for 1 second because I wanted to indicate this has happened before in other areas. I can give you a very specific example. In my family, I had some family that lived in Wilmington, Delaware, and Wilmington has these factories that were putting out a bunch of pollution. And people, there's a whole class action suit. I don't know if they ever finished that class action suit, but a bunch of people died from lung cancer, and they weren't smokers. Just all of a sudden, people started having lung cancer who were not smokers. So over the course of a few years, I want to say the EPA or somebody got wind of it, but this is after a bunch of people already are gone. Then they were like, oh man, there's a problem. Then they said, let's regulate the problem. But I will tell you right now, I can drive through Wilmington to this day and it still smells the same as it did when I was a kid. Them plants are still pushing out that pollution and those people are still inhaling it. And I can tell you for a fact that it was taking people out. It was blowing out people's candles. And I have 2 family members very specifically that I can remember that happened to, and nobody could explain how they got lung cancer and they don't smoke. And it turned out they were just polluting the air in Wilmington, Delaware. So For those of y'all that are in or close to Wilmington, Delaware, or even close to I think it's Chester, Pennsylvania as well, which is not too far from there. That whole area is a lot of industrial stuff that goes on, a lot of coal burning and all that kind of stuff. It'll tear you up. It'll tear you up. So if you can get out of those areas, please do, or find a way to purify the air out there. But this is the same thing. So we've gone through this before. It's just been with other industries. It's new for anybody to understand what it takes to compute, or for the transformers to compute what they need to compute. To us, it's just a click and type in a prompt and it does something. We don't know that somewhere halfway across the country, a turbine, which is basically what you use to power a jet and send it up into flight, is pulling in and pushing out gas and air to keep these processors cool. So that's the only way that they operate, is they stay cool. Anybody that knows anything about electronics knows when they get hot, it's a problem. So the most important piece of dealing with electronics is keeping them cool. So that's really what they're doing. It's all about keeping everything cool. When you go into a data center, it's cold as shit in there. If you've ever been in a network closet at a business, it's cold as shit in there. There's always an AC unit, and if the AC unit stops working, it gets to a sauna temperature in less than an hour or so. It gets hot because those machines are kicking all day, every day, kicking out gas, kicking out energy, kicking out prompts and responses to the general public. And I'll tell you right now, the general public has become so reliant upon the transformers. I don't think they're going to do anything to regulate this, especially not now. There's too much money in it. There's too much money in it. Imagine a class action lawsuit from the city of Memphis versus Elon Musk. Like, that would be detrimental to the reputation of the Transformers, and they're not going to allow that.
Easter and her husband have also developed COPD. What does it feel like?
Feel like you're fixing to die.
The area around XAI leads the state in emergency department visits for asthma. Memphis has one of the highest rates of toxic air releases of any American city, and many of its most polluting facilities are in this neighborhood.
Elon, what he did with Memphis is objectively somewhat dirty, but he's also doing it in an area where there's like a bigger natural gas plant right next door and like a wastewater treatment and a garbage dump nearby, right? And he's obviously made the world a lot more clean than that one data center.
In just 1 year, XAI has blown past existing polluters.
They're emitting somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of NOx. I'm an air pollution guy, so I deal in those numbers all the time, and that's larger than anything else in Memphis.
Gas turbines like these release 3 main types of deadly pollution: nitrogen oxides, formaldehyde, and fine particulate matter. Nitrogen oxides combine with other pollutants to form ground-level ozone, which causes and worsens asthma and COPD. Formaldehyde causes cancer, and particulate matter, airborne soot, can pass through your lungs and into your bloodstream, causing heart disease.
We've shown up today because we've been to too many funerals.
We'll pause that here.
We've shown up today because...
Just for a second. John III, thanks for stopping in the chat. I don't believe that this comes down to race in this channel. This is an observation. It's not a racial channel. We all live here. I think you might be seeing it that way. But the obvious is the obvious. The only people they were interviewing were people of color. That's why I asked about that. I said I would venture to say that the area surrounding it probably has a lot of people of that ilk, because that's who they keep interviewing. That's not me bringing up race. That's me noticing something and stating what I saw. That was an observation. If you didn't make the same observation, okay, that's fine. We can dispute that, because even in this shot, there's a swath of different people here. You got a white guy there, you got a black lady here, you got some black people in the background. So yes, there's a bunch of people there, but I would venture to say that the majority of those people who live in the area surrounding this plant, it's going to be a low-income area, because that's what they normally do, is they put these things in areas where the property values are a little bit lower so that they can get them for a good price. And unfortunately, in a lot of major cities, the lower income areas have more black people in them. That's not racially motivated. That's just freaking fact. Now, if you're not a fact-based person and you can't delineate the lines of what's racist versus what's an observation of the population of an area, you understand what I'm saying? This is all, it could have been an all-white area. I would have noticed that. You see what I'm saying? Or if it was a high-class area, or if it was an area where they had a huge opiate problem, whatever the observation is, we're allowed to make it. Okay, this is the Purge of the BS, man. Get with it. Anyway, So as you can see, these folks have decided to have a town hall meeting after a bunch of people got COPD, lung cancer, and some more stuff. But notice, after. So the damage is done. This stuff is already in the air. It's already floating around. The damage is done. So unless you're planning on doing something where you're purifying the actual atmosphere, it's over with. And there's no regulation over these plants, over this plant specifically, because of what its business category is. So if you're making food or something, I guess you're under EPA standards because of, outputs from food plants, right? But for some reason, because of what they're making and what they're doing, they're not regulated in this regard. So that's dangerous. And if you don't know, the president has made it so I don't think they can have any AI regulations for like 10 more years. So that could be problem. That could be a problem going forward. Okay? So, John III, we're on the same page here, bro. It is about rich and poor. And like I said, unfortunately, in a lot of major cities, the lower income areas have more black people in them. So it's like I'm not going to call it a natural problem, but it's like one thing kind of leads to the next. Those are just observations. We're allowed to have them and talk about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that you fall on one side or the other. It's just in most major cities, the lower income areas seem to have more black people in them. So if you do something that affects the lower income area, disproportionately, it would affect the black population more so than others. That's just what will happen. It's not a racist thing. It's just, like math, 2 + 2 = 4. Unless you're one of those people that thinks it equals 5, and I don't want to hear shit you got to say if that's
because we've cried too many tears. We've shown up here today because we're tired. And we have an expectation of the people that we elect and put into place. We expect them to do what is in our best interest. Not Elon Musk. And what we're saying is that stops now.
In April, hundreds of people came to a high school in South Memphis to talk about XAI.
First of all, this one in the background, I just got to pause for a second. The face on the one in the background, this woman or man, I'm not sure, I'll be honest, is definitely feeling it. Now, we can have, we can have a discussion about who's being adversely affected by whatever, but when you look at the pictures, disproportionately, the grand majority of the crowd, and especially those who are speaking, happen to be black people. Okay? Can we at least agree to that? And then we can move into whatever the other social construct is when it comes to low-income areas, have white people in them. Yes, I've lived in a low-income area before, and there's white people there too. But we know the truth as well. And both things can be true at the same time. That there's white people there and that it would disproportionately affect brown people because there's more of them there. Both things can be true at the same time, okay? That's it. You sure that's a woman, Z? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just being honest.
In January, the company belatedly applied for a permit to operate 15 of its turbines for 5 years.
From the applicant XAI, Mr. Brent Mayo.
That's the first time that XAI has publicly addressed the community in any way.
Understand? Here's a statement, but again, XAI is committed to meeting the highest standard of emissions. XAI is going above and beyond the required emission control required into that. Thank you very much for your time.
He immediately left after reading his script.
Didn't even take no questions.
It's extremely disrespectful.
See? Disrespectful. You heard him say it. Disrespectful.
It's time to start telling the truth. The truth is that XAI, who just ran up out of here, they have no controls that prevent air pollution or decrease air pollution in their factories. None. That's the truth.
Power to the people!
To date,
power to the transformers is the problem. He said power to the people. No, the problem is y'all putting the power into the plant. And the regular citizens did not necessarily vote on that. That was some land acquisition that was worked on by businesses. Elon jumped on Twitter and said, hey, we're going to set this thing up. And none of the citizenry had any ability to say, nah, we don't want that. So now that it's affecting those citizens, they're trying to speak up, but how are you going to change that? What, you going to break the whole place down? You're going to stop them from powering these machines now? You can't. Once you let it go, it's gone. So the best thing you can do, Memphisians, if that's a word for the people of Memphis, y'all got to move. There's no way that they're going to shut it down at this point. A bunch of people made money off of it already. The Grok situation is, there's an update every couple of months now. It's supposed to be the best. They're not going to let it go. They'll let you go, which is why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. Because there has been a common thought among some, not all, that the growth of the transformers is far more important than the growth of humanity. Because we can use these transformers to replace the people who don't make it. That's it. We don't need you to not get the job. You won't be here to get the job. So we can put this automated system in place of you. And there you go. So what you going to do to stop it? I appreciate them coming together. I appreciate them having town halls. But unless the EPA, the federal government, or somebody is stepping in, there's no stopping this. So y'all need to get together, either start a class action lawsuit, or everybody needs to jump in their cars, pack up a couple of U-Hauls, and get the hell out of there. Because they don't care about you. They don't care if you catch COPD. They don't care. And you know who else doesn't care? The hospitals don't care. You know who else doesn't care? The pharmaceutical companies don't care. None of them are going to care that you're getting sick out there. So the only option you have is to get the hell out of there. And the name of this thing, Al, you did ask the question, is the name of the spot was called Colossus. Okay. So, John III, I see you have made an inference that there's more white people there than black people. Okay. Does that change my last statement about whoever the hell is there needs to get out of there? You know what I'm saying? This goes to everyone. I'm not just talking to black people. This is why I need you to chill sometimes, man. Just let me have my thing, okay? All right. Anybody that lives there. I didn't segment. I said the people that live there need to get the hell out of there because they have no power to stop what's already going on. Now, if we can agree on that, then we can help all. Not just white, not just black. You know what I'm saying? See how it comes back full circle? This is a community that surrounds it. We all know that most communities in America are not just all of one thing or the other. They can be predominantly one or the other, but they're never all one thing. Now, granted, you might find an apartment complex that's like all one thing. But as far as an entire city, no. There's just going to be certain areas that are predominantly what they are. But I want everybody to take the real message from this, which is we don't have power against our replacements. That which is being designed to replace medial tasks, soft skills, things like that, has more rights than you as a person who lives in the same area. So I don't have a right to clean air, but you have a right to create generative images and come up with SEO optimized descriptions for stuff and answer questions like Google. That's it. So to the persons who run this, we ain't worth much, but I asked the question, don't people work there? Or is it just a fully automated building? Because with that being said, the people that work there are in danger. And they may not be black or white. They could be some Indian folks. I don't know. But I would assume anybody who's too close is going to be affected by this. So the only real option is to get the hell out of there. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it, dude. And how do you do that? People can't just pick up and go anymore. Those days are over. There was a time when people would just jump in the car, say screw it, and move to another state and pick up there and keep it going. Nowadays, you're so tied into living paycheck to paycheck, you can't save up enough money to get the U-Haul to move out of state. Or put the security deposit on the new place while you're paying for the current spot. That's most people's situation. Some people, you know, you got a little bit saved up. Some people get a, you know, nice tax return. They can do something with that. Or they have a digital product that they sell. You know, speaking of digital products, make sure you visit freemanservices.org/shop. Pick up any of our Purge products or our Freeman Services products to support the channel and support fair chance employment and hiring. Thank you. But yeah, you gotta be honest here, folks. I get it. I like what they did. They had a nice little town hall, but the guy that came and spoke didn't take any questions. That means he's not looking for solutions. He just came there because somebody said, yo, we got to go say this to these people that we're trying our best, that we're trying to use emission standards, and we're trying not to hurt nobody. Whether or not they get hurt, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is we're trying not to do that. And because they're trying not to do it, we're supposed to give them some credit and let them keep it. And I, for one, am not for that. But I also need them to figure out how they're going to get past the problem. These turbines are the problem. So if the turbines are the problem, we need to find a new way to power the transformers. And there was recently, and I would say as recently as yesterday, there was an entire meeting, kind of like a NATO meeting, but not NATO, for the transformers going forward. And they came up with a few solutions for, you know, what they think should help. And they have 4 specific solutions, and we'll see what it does. But they've got smart silicone, which uses energy efficient chips, edge computing, more lightweight models, clean data centers that use renewable energy, solar power, getting better cooling, and more strategic locations away from people. That's the second thing. Thoughtful use of the transformers, creating the right size models for tasks to avoid overprocessing, which creates more heat, which causes them to consume more energy and burn more gas. And then use the same programs to come up with ways to reduce the emissions. So basically use the transformers to figure out how to better power the transformers. So the bottom line is this. This situation can either be an environmental disaster, and honestly, in my opinion, it's already on its way to being so, if people are already getting lung cancer and COPD and all of that. Or it can be a wake-up call to give us a more sustainable solution. Like, I wonder why they wouldn't use solar power, and that's probably because solar power wasn't enough. Maybe it's not pushing hard enough, which is crazy to me. Because if the sun ain't powerful enough to power it, then maybe we shouldn't be running it, whatever it is. But it can either be a disaster or a sustainability solution. And it all depends on how we build it, because it's still up to us to create this. We are the parents of the transformer. We created Cybertron. So we still run it, meaning our input is still what it's operating off of. So if we decide to not run it a certain way, it has to do that. If we decide to minimize the emissions, it doesn't have a choice. So why don't we have these people make the right choices when it comes to us? Because if they don't care about us, why would they care about anybody else? And I'm talking about us like Americans. So they'll just go build it somewhere else and do the same thing. They'll go to a rainforest, kill the trees. They'll go to, you see what I'm saying? You go to a continent that's inhabited by some natives, end up giving them lung cancer. They ain't never smoked a day in their life. And you know what's the worst part about it? At the end of it, they're not even going to care, because at the end of the day, there is a common thread that the growth of these transformers is more important than the growth and development of humanity. That's crazy to me. It's absolute crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. So let me bring it over. Let me give up my shouts. I got to get out of here. I got some shit to do today. As usual. Special shouts to, let me get my shouts out real quick. I see a couple people just joining in. Y'all a little late, but it's cool. You can watch the playback, and there'll be some shorts later. But you know what? That's not a bad idea. Maybe we put this stuff out in space somewhere. Parents shooting up is bad. Put the comment in the chat. Maybe we should put the stuff out in space, put it closer to the sun, solar power it, and then, I guess, fire off information back in the other direction. That sounds like something that could, you know, sounds like something. But I don't know. I'm not building the stuff. I just know I don't want to have cancer because they built a computer factory, like, next to me. So nonetheless, special shouts to Askew Jew for jumping in here. Jay Coleman, of course, always a pleasure having you stop by. Sebastian Polega, thank you for stopping in. Parent shooting up is bad. Thank you for stopping in. Who else we got in here? Of course, we have my regular chatterboxers, which I appreciate y'all. Everybody else be scared. We get a couple thousand people in here, and only 15 or 20 of them are willing to talk. But that's all right. The rest of them are just gaining information, and that's fine with me, because that's what the show is for. Special shouts to IMZ for stopping in the chat. And a special shout to my Sergeant at Arms, Al Bond, in the chat. That's my lead moderator. You mess with me, you mess with him, okay? He's always watching. So as long as everybody stays in line, he stays behind the line. But once you cross the gun line, boss, it's going to be a problem. That's what I got my man Al Bond in there for. So nonetheless, y'all been great today. But I'm going to go with, I saw one of the people put in the chat, it's time to go off the grid. And to a degree, I agree with that. But it's like, where do you really go? Because damn it, I still need to go to Publix and get some food. And I still need to go to the gas station. So maybe you can find somewhere out in the skirts of Tennessee somewhere, or in the Dakotas, way far away from the beach. See, I can't be that far away from the beach. The Dakotas, for me, is too far from the beach. I need to be close to the water. That way, if I could get out of here and I can't get a plane and I can't take a car, but there's a boat, I'll get on the boat. But if you're in the middle of the country and something pop off, hey, you better figure out how to drive, or you better learn how to fly a plane, or you're going to be stuck. So nonetheless, y'all have been great. I will be back on Saturday, because it is Thursday. So we're back on Saturday night for our Saturday night show with panel show. Got a special guest coming on this weekend as well. So y'all definitely tune into that. The episode will be up probably Friday, so you can't hit the notification now. But just make sure you come back to the channel. Bring somebody back to the channel. Tell them that we are over here talking that real shit. We can have a debate and discussion without having beef. That's what we do over here on Purge the BS, because the bullshit is what we got to get rid of so we can get to the real shit. But for anybody that's not about that real shit, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And I'm out. Thank you.